Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cardinal Sims Gaming. Today we're doing a little something different. We're actually going on a little bird walk. I haven't done anything like this before, so bear with me. I'm figuring it out as we go. There's a lot of people here today, but I didn't expect it to be this busy. Hopefully we see some birds. Since there's a lot of people out, I don't think we will. But fingers crossed, we'll at least see something worth it today. Anyways, let's get started. Yeah, I took a little stop because I saw some birds. I've been hearing them, and I don't fucking see them yet. So we'll see where we're at. I want to get in a wooded trail so that I can actually see or hear some birds. I don't think I came out early enough for the birds. They rise early, you know, the early bird gets the worm and whatnot. But yeah, I don't think I got up early enough for them because all I've seen right now are some sparrows. So keep you guys posted though. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, he's right at the top there. That's a red-winged blackbird. I don't know if you can... Yeah, that little guy there. Oh, stop focusing. Yeah, I heard him coming. That little black blob on that branch right there. Heard him coming, but I didn't know what it was at first. It's a red-winged blackbird. I could hear him there. There must be a lot of red-winged blackbirds in this area because that's like the only call I'm hearing at the moment. There's so many of them just talking to each other. You can hear it in the background. They're just talking to each other. I'm pretty sure right now might be mating / nesting season for them, so they're probably talking to each other to, you know...
What did he say?
I feel like I got a friend. He's like just staying there. I know he's probably waiting for somebody, but... Yeah, I feel like I've got a friend. Oh, another bird mid-flight. I don't know what kind of bird that is. Can't tell. Can't tell when they're flying. I think I found a pretty good spot. I can hear a lot of birds. I just can't see a lot of birds right now. But it's a good spot for like flight. You can see a lot of birds going to the different trees. So that's pretty cool, but I might move on. Okay, I'll keep it moving. If you look really closely in this bush, there's a couple of cardinals, and I'm not trying to scare them, but there they are, there they are. Oh, couple cardinals. Oh, there they are. Right behind that bush there. Okay, so where I'm at, there's a lot of nesting boxes specifically for bluebirds. So I was really hoping I'd catch an eye on a bluebird, but there isn't any bluebirds at the moment. Let me see. Yeah, there's a box right here. Looking at it a lot closer, it looks pretty fucking big, so I don't know if that is a bluebird box. That might be an owl or a large woodpecker box. So yeah, that's really cool. But the place where I'm at, they have a lot of nesting boxes around, so the birds should be here. Now that's a good example of a bluebird house. It's facing the east, and it's got a wide open space around it. That's what the bluebirds like. That's what they're looking for in their home, is the hole facing the east and then the wide open space in the back. So I want to talk about the bird books that I've been reading. I read, at the very top of the year, I read the Backyard Bird Chronicles, which is a fantastic book. If you have not read it, I highly recommend. And then the Backyard Bird Bible, which was written in 2000-ish. Yeah, I want to compare and contrast the way that bird books have been different, as well as the way birding and bird watching has changed. People have been like ramping up the interest in birds, so it's been growing, it's been expanding. It's not just backyard bird feeding anymore. People are really excited about bird watching and going out and seeing different birds than they see at their feeders. So yeah, this is just a little taste of that, but when I get home, we'll be talking about the book side of things. I am super excited to see what's different in the bird community. Yeah, we'll see you at home. Oh, I think I do see a bird in the distance on the water. I don't know what that is, but yeah, it's definitely something on the water. Pretty big bird on the water. On closer inspection, I think it is just a Canadian goose. Okay, unless I find another cool spot, I will be going home now. So I just needed a little bit more birds. Come on, I came all the way out here to see the birds. Show me the birds! Breakfast is served. Okay, so we're back home. I've got my books and I'm ready to talk about them. So, if you guys were wondering, Glenn, why do you care about birds so much? I actually work at a bird feed supply store, so like feeders, houses, everything you can think of for wild birds. That's what I do, is I'm a bird feeding specialist. That's my title, specifically feeding, but I'm getting more into the watching aspect by doing this. This is my way of getting out of the store and actually like seeing birds in their habitat, because I see them at my house all the time and I see pictures on people's phones all the time, but I really only see them in like backyard settings. So one of these books is basically about that, the Backyard Bird Chronicles by Amy Tan, which is a phenomenal book. It's basically just her literally going through days of her bird journaling, watching behaviors, a lot of backyard experiences. So the other books that I have here are just just bird watching. This one is a backyard book as well, but it has a lot about just feeding and natural tendencies in it. The Backyard Bird Bible, and then this one is a really random one that I got from like a thrift bookstore. It's really cool, actually. I have it more for decoration than anything, but there is a lot of information. So it pulls out into two like this. Yeah, you can take each side out, and it's got beautiful covers. But this one's the journal. I don't think there's anything written in it. I haven't bird journaled yet.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Anyways, this book is basically just why birding, how do you bird, that kind of thing. I don't know who it's Mark J. Rosen there. Yeah, this is just a book I got thrifted and read a good portion of. But my main idea is to talk about how birding has changed. Since I work in a bird store, I see a lot of different people who bird. I've noticed that nowadays younger people are starting to bird more often. Most people who are retired, that's like when the birding starts, because you have a lot more time on your hands. You have a lot more time to relax and sit at the feeders in the morning and like really watch. But whereas me, like, I don't have that much time. But nowadays, people have camera feeders and can watch whenever they want. Like personally, I have a camera feeder. I haven't put it up yet because I'm going to make a whole video about that. But I do have a Roku camera that is like set up right in front of my deck setup here. I still want to see the birds. I still want to like, you know what birds are coming to my feeder, if any birds are coming to my feeder. It's just a better interactive way if you don't have time to sit at the feeders, especially since most cameras will let you know if there's movement. Most of the time, I get to see at least 1 or 2 birds at my feeder a day because of that motion capture. But the camera feeders is where you get a bit of a better experience. But like I said, I'm going to be making a whole video about the camera feeders, which ones are best, which ones aren't. Yeah, so if you're interested in any of that, I will have a video in the future because I've got a camera feeder that I just need to set up and kind of test out a little bit, and then I'll talk about them. Today we're talking about the books of it all and how things have changed, because this book was written in 2000, and there is a lot of information in this book. This is a huge book. It talks about gardening, what fruits you could put out, what frozen treats. So here, let's just go to this feeding myths. Adding red dye to hummingbird nectar will make the birds sick. False. Some of us of a certain age may remember the red dye scare of a couple of decades ago when a popular food additive was found to have carcinogenic effects in humans and was eliminated from the processed food and supermarket shelves. That actually is still true. Adding red dye to hummingbird nectar will make birds sick is false. That is actually true. Do not listen to this one. It's true. Birds will get sick with red dye. If you do just a quick Google of like hummingbird red dye, it says do not put red dye in your hummingbird nectar, whereas this said you can put red dye in it, but it's also redundant in the fact that your feeder is going to be red, so that's attracting them. The food necessarily, they're not going to see the food, they're going to see the feeder, unless you have it in like a glass bowl or something. But most feeders have like a red top, or they're made out of glass and then have like red flowers around them, so they will see the red. You don't need to add red, hummingbird stuff to your thing. So that's one thing that they've gotten wrong in this book over 25 years. So things have changed. Okay, they talk a little bit about red pepper. Red pepper helps deter squirrels, but nowadays I've noticed that the squirrels are kind of becoming immune to it. A good amount of squirrels are immune to the red chili flakes and all that kind of stuff. So become more and more of a prevalent thing in the feeding community is to have hot pepper food. Some people don't like it because they think that they're hurting their squirrels and that kind of thing. That just deters them. Like it's just like when we eat spicy food. If you don't like the amount of spice, you'll stop eating it. So if it's too spicy for the squirrels, they'll stop eating it. It's just as simple as that. If you have a lot of squirrels, then yeah, hot pepper might be for you, but I only have like 1 or 2, so I don't really use hot pepper too much because the squirrels got to eat too. That's how I view it. One thing that I do see in here that we don't sell a lot of anymore are these salt blocks. Yeah, right here there's a picture of a salt block. Okay. The salt block is mainly for birds that need salt and grit to digest their food. Some birds will literally take some gravel and like use it to chop up the nuts and the fruits and whatever into their system. So it's basically a form of digestion. I guess the salt also acts as that. And nowadays we don't see too many salt blocks out for the birds. I think that's kind of a trend that's died down. I feel like the main difference with birding nowadays, making your own feeders as well as coming up with your own ways to like keep squirrels out and that kind of thing, because nowadays you can find those kind of things. Like here's something that we actually do sell at our store is like a cage to put over your tray feeder. They're telling you how to make one of those here. People were more resourceful back in the day with what they had because yeah, there's another blueprint in here for how to make your own feeder. There's one with a gourd, and there's one with just straight wood. Hold on, let me go back to that. Yeah, simple roofed feeder. Here, there's literal blueprints for how to make your own feeder. Here's another one. I just scrolled right to this page. They have somebody making a hole in the rock to make their own bird bath. Like, I think that people just were so much more creative with the birding back in the day, because, like, yeah, we have our fancy camera feeders now, but who's making their own feeders? You see birds sitting on this rock, you make a little bird bath for them with a little chisel. Everybody's so creative. Like, I would have never thought of that. There is one guy that I know who made his own bird feeding system. Like, he just went to Home Depot and made a pulley system to pull up and down his feeders. So yeah, you don't see much of that anymore. That seems to be a big difference with the birding community nowadays. Now it's more about convenience versus creativity and matching the birds where they are. That's a big trend, is how do we make birding easier, which is great because then it broadens the community, but it also kind of takes away some of that creativity. But then it also raises prices because it makes it more convenient. Am I just bitching that birding got too easy nowadays? Is that it? This book also talks about nectar feeders, how you can make your own nectar feeder, as well as like what birds will drink at it. And yeah, there's a lot of birds on here that we don't really talk about drinking nectar nowadays. Maybe they don't drink as much nectar, but they're talking about cardinals, chickadees, house finches, purple finches, goldfinches. They all drink nectar. I haven't heard anybody saying that. So have those birds stopped drinking nectar because we put out so much seed? Who knows? There's a whole section on how to grow your own nuts for the birds. So yeah, people were growing stuff for the birds. People were making stuff for the birds. I just think that the birding community is not as creative as it used to be. How can we make it more creative? I'll talk a little bit about Amy Tan now, since we've talked a good amount about this bird feeding Bible. I probably will make another video about this book just because it is so ginormous and there are so many good ideas in here. I might actually start a series of making bird feeders out of this book, or doing some of the like little things in this book for my birds, because yeah, we should bring some of these things back. Leave me a comment below and let me know if there's a specific bird you want to know about, where I can talk about it and I can bring stuff up from here, as well as do some ideas that are in this book. Let's talk about Amy Tan's book real quick. Her birds that she gets are very different than mine. I guess not very different, because I get sparrows and all that kind of stuff, but she gets like hummingbirds, she gets multiple kinds of hummingbirds. Where I'm at, we only get the one kind. And also just look at these drawings that she does. I say that people aren't getting creative anymore, but this lady, she built all of her own baffles, and she did get a lot of feeders and such, but she did like make a lot of her own stuff. So there are still people in the birding community that are getting creative with it, but I think more of us need to get creative. Okay, here's at least a couple of the feeders that she has. Yeah, she made this cage. I know that for a fact. This is a feeder called the Erva feeder, Erva bluebird feeder, which is just a cup for mealworms and then an exclusion cage around it. This one is called the Dinner Bell. Has like a movable top so you can kind of make this space for how big the birds are. Another exclusion cage here on a tube feeder. But yeah, there are so many different kinds of feeders, and I think that's also why people don't really like make their own feeders anymore, is because there are so many. You can find exclusion cages places. However, they're expensive. They're very expensive. Feeders are expensive. So like birding is an expensive hobby. If you can make something to feed your birds, I think that's phenomenal. I've seen an idea of turning like a 2-liter into a bird feeder. Maybe I'll do that. I think that's something that we should do, is start a series of making things, trying it out, and letting you guys know how it goes. What do you guys think? Well, I've probably yapped enough. I probably yapped your ear off enough about birds. If there is anything else you guys have ideas for, please let me know. I'm very interested in getting a whole bird series started. Either making feeders, talking about specific birds, how to get them to your yard, that kind of thing. Let me know if you're interested in that in the comments. Birding really hasn't changed that much, I guess. It's just gotten more convenient. So that's kind of like the gist of this little talk today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. It'll probably be Minecraft because I haven't played in a little bit. If you're excited for that, leave a comment below. I will leave a link in the description for the last part of the Minecraft so you can get caught up. If you love birds, leave a like. I'm so excited to get out in the birding world, see all those damn birds. Thank you guys. See you in the next one. Bye!